can be seated. The Lord be with you. Let us pray. Gracious God, we give you thanks for a host of things tonight, for the weather, for the gift of community, but most of all, we give you thanks for your Spirit, which works in all of our lives and continues to change and transform us in a variety of ways. Remind us of your power this evening. In Jesus' name we pray. So it was about, 2 months ago, Dennis? A new member of our church, Jesse, said, there's this guy, Pastor Justin, you need to meet. His name is Pastor Dennis. He's up in the Twin Cities. And so we got together at Caribou. I heard his story, and my first thought, honestly, was there's a lot of people from our congregation, there's a lot of people in our community who would benefit from hearing Dennis's story. And so Dennis, thanks for being here tonight. No more introduction than that. I'm just going to invite you to come on up and share your story. I think maybe I know we're Lutherans. We don't clap easily, but I think.
Well, everyone, my name is Pastor Dennis Otto, and I want to thank you all for being here. And I would like to say a quick prayer before I start. If that all your heads, please. Dear Jesus, we thank you for this day, Jesus. We thank you for the many blessings because we've gotten to enjoy the day that you've given us. I pray, Jesus, that you would be glorified tonight in all things and in all words. In your holy name we pray. Amen. Well, everybody, I grew up in Hastings to a pretty devout Catholic family, above average income, and I had a good family life. And I want to tell you this because I want you to know that the things you're going to hear wasn't because of my mom or my dad or the way I was brought up. They were my choices. And you younger people here, I want you to understand, choices matter, every one. So I grew up in Hastings. I was introduced to some weed by my older cousin at about, 12, 13 years old. And I liked it. I tell people I believe I was an addict from day one. Because from the very beginning, I always wanted more. Then I started drinking, stealing some alcohol from my dad's bar and stuff. And my schoolwork went down, the drugs got harder, different ones, crosses, speed, whatever was available I took. I did manage to graduate in '76. Went to work in construction right away, started operating heavy equipment. About '79, I was in trouble. I had a couple of assault charges, I had a DWI. And my lawyer told me, go to treatment, before you go see the judge. So I went up to a treatment center up in the cities. I completed it. And what it taught me was that I had a drinking problem. Drugs were okay, but the drinking was where I lost control. So I continued to do drugs, but I quit drinking. And then I also moved up to the east side of St. Paul, which probably wasn't the best spot for me to go. I started running with a small motorcycle club up there. And these guys were some pretty serious guys. I'm a country boy. These were city guys. But anyhow, we started getting in trouble. I started dealing because I had money. I had money coming in, so I didn't like paying for drugs, so I started dealing. And whatever was in season, didn't matter. Acid, hash, weed, cocaine. I dealt them all. I met a gal up there about in '84, '83. We moved in together. We have a son, my first son, Brandon. That same year, one of my best friends, he went down for murder one. What we used to do, we used to go to different bars. There were 4 of us that were real tight, and we used to see how many guys we could take out of the bar. And we did this quite often. That's what we did. That's what we did to pass the time. Well, Mike, he went a little too far. He actually went a lot too far, and he killed the guy. He beat him to death. So he went down for murder one, and I'm sitting there looking at my son. And this isn't who I am. This isn't the way I was raised. I grew up on a farm south of Hastings, and I thought, this isn't who I am. So we moved back to Hastings. We packed up, we moved to Hastings. I bought a trailer and some trailer park there. And my drug use went way down. Went way down. It was more recreation. Always smoked weed, but it was way down. Working hard. Shelly and I, then we got married. In about '87, we had our second son. '88, I moved. I bought a house out in Hampton. You guys probably all know where Hampton, Minnesota is. I bought a house out there. And life was good. I was working hard. I played hard though too. But life was pretty good. I was actually the mayor of the town for 2 terms. Training officer on the fire department, captain in the fire department, and all the while I'm dealing drugs, doing drugs. I was a functioning addict is what I was. 1990, I have my little girl. Now, you know, boys are nice and all, but you dads out there that have little girls, you know what I'm talking about. There's just something about that little girl, you know. And I thought, man, I've got the world now. I've got a good job, I've got a nice house, 2 boys and a girl. I was happy. But then my marriage started to fall apart. And I didn't know why. I had no clue why. And it was just, every day was just a struggle. Just a struggle. When my daughter was about almost 4 years old, I found out why our marriage was in shambles. I found out she wasn't mine. It's hard. Sometimes I think I should take this out of my story, but I think it needs to be told. It was like somebody took my little girl. I mean, I lost it. I left the house. I knew I had to get out. I went up to northern Wisconsin. I had a buddy up there that was just, he was a giant of a man. Because I knew I needed somebody to babysit me. So I didn't kill somebody or kill myself. So I went up there for a couple days and Mikey babysat me and stuff. I come home and I tell my wife, I said, you know, if I kick you out, the ones that are going to suffer are the kids. I said, so I'll swallow my pride. Let's go to counseling and let's work on this now that I know what the problem was. Well, 3 months later, she had another boyfriend and we got divorced about 6 months later. I filed for divorce and divorced her. I kept the house. And the problem was when I went home after work to that empty house, it was killing me. So I told my boss, he said, get me out of town. He said, I can't stand going to that empty house. So he put me down in Okoboji, Iowa. Second night down there, me and some of the guys that I was working with, we went to a strip club down there. And about 10 days after being in there, I started drinking straight Jack Daniels. And I gotta remember, I haven't drank since 1979. And I started drinking hard. About a half hour in, and I had the bouncer on the floor, and it was just a mess, and it started from there. I was crazy. You know, and the thing is I didn't care. I didn't care. I was actually hoping somebody would just put me out of my misery because I was miserable. But now on the days that I had my kids on the weekends, I was sober, and I never did nothing on the weekends, had big sleepovers and stuff. And those were my only things that were keeping me halfway sane. And then all of a sudden, my kids, they wanted to come out to my house no more. My ex was sitting there talking stuff to them that they, number one, had no business knowing. And it was stuff that was happening before I even had these kids. So now my kids didn't want to come out. And I mean, everything was taken from me. And you know, I'm not blaming my ex for what I did. Life happened and it was real. But the choices I made were mine. I didn't know any other way to deal with what was going on. And so I dealt with them the way I knew. And that was with drugs, alcohol, violence, and the whole thing, whatever went with it. Well, it was a couple years later, and I got introduced to this red phosphorus fluff. It's a meth. Now I'll tell you, I've done every drug there is. This stuff was unbelievable. I felt like Superman when I was on it. And that wasn't a good place for me to feel. I mean, it was unbelievable. Well, the guy that I was buying from, he ended up about 3 months later, he got arrested, him and his girlfriend. He had enough money to bail himself out, but not his girlfriend. So he comes to me because he knows I'm working and I've got a good job and all that. So I bailed her out, and for doing that, he taught me how to make this meth. So now I'm a meth cook. Before I felt like Superman, now I was Superman because there was nobody up here. I was the top. And it was unbelievable. The problem with the thing that really was bad was it brought a power that was really addicting. I could get people to do anything I wanted them to do for this drug. And I abused that power. I'm not proud of it, but I did. I abused that power. hour. Well, at about 99, 2000, about 99, I started running with some one percenters. And for you that don't know, that's an outlaw motorcycle club like the Hells Angels. And I started running with these guys, and I was what they called a hang-around. I made good drugs, and so I could hang around with them. My best buddy was a patch holder. In fact, he lived with me. Now things were stepped up a notch. These guys are in a league all their own, and they were my friends. Well, in 2001, I got on the radar screen of the Dakota County Task Force, Drug Task Force. 2002, I was sentenced to 110 months in prison. My charges were first-degree manufacturing, first-degree distribution, first-degree possession, and a felon in possession of firearms. I always carried a gun, always. When the judge told me 110 months, I had a sigh of relief. I thought, it's over, finally. Because it wasn't 6 months before that, me and Opie, the patch holder of the 1% Club, we were talking, and I told Opie, I said, man, Opie, I said, I'm tired. I want out. And Opie laughed, and he goes, Dennis, men like me and you, we don't get out. We get dead. And so when I actually was going to prison, I was relieved. And now after looking back, I seriously believe if I wouldn't have gone to prison when I did, within 2 or 3 months, I would have been dead. I was already dead, it's just my body didn't catch up to me. Inside, I was dead, I was gone. So prison saved my life. Well, I got out on a boot camp program. I walked out of prison in 2006. 2 weeks before my 48th birthday, I had $126 to my name and the prison clothes on my back. The county seized all my property, my house, my truck, my car, everything was gone. And I knew how to make drugs. But I stayed straight and I white-knuckled it. Was going to NA because I had to. Not because I wanted to, because I had to. I met my wife Patty there. We started dating. Okay, now Patty's whole family's Christian. Patty's 19 years younger than I am. Her family didn't send me many Christmas cards, you know, and I don't blame them, but that was my first introduction to Christianity. I used to tell Patty, I said, you know, I don't understand these Christians. I said, they don't even know me and they're judging me. You know, I think it was more they were concerned about their daughter, their youngest sister and stuff like that, but yes, they did not like me at the time. Well, we ended up, was it 2008? We had a son, Caden. We moved in together. I used to go to family functions. Nobody really talked to me, but I'd go and I was cordial. Well, one night we went out to eat, and I was sitting way at the end of the table away from everybody, kind of like where I usually sat. And Patty's brother-in-law, Matt, was sitting across the table from me. And he goes, Dennis, where are you at spiritually? Now, me and Matt hadn't hardly spoken a word together. And I'm thinking, that's a really weird thing to ask a guy. So I'm thinking, you know, I want to give him a zinger, you know, because number one, you've never talked to me before, and now that's what you want to ask me. So I've got all these thoughts, and don't you know who I am, what I've done? Well, you don't talk to people like this. And all of a sudden, I heard this voice, and it said, be honest. And I paused, because I've never heard this voice before. And I thought, you know, this all was a matter of seconds, and I thought, what was that? And I thought, that was nothing, and, you know. And so I started thinking of something to say again, and all of a sudden the voice came back, and this time it was like it was mad at me. It said, Dennis, for once in your life, be honest. And so I looked at Matt, and I said, Matt, I said, I've been living in hell my whole life. I hope when I die, it's better than this. So he just started asking me questions. He goes, what do you think of God? What do you think of Jesus? And I told him, I said, man, I said, the things I've seen, the things I've done, the things I've heard of other people doing and seen, getting done, I said, it's really hard for me to believe that there's a God out there that will allow this to go on. And I said, and if there is a God out there, why would he do anything for a man like me? I see good people all over that are suffering. A child with cancer, the loss of a loved one. Good people that are suffering. And I said, God's not helping them. Why would he help me? Well, we talked. We talked for like an hour and a half. I think the whole family left and me and Matt stayed there. And we just talked. He goes, if I give you a book, would you read it? Well, next time we do a lot of reading in prison. I said, yeah, I'll read it. So he gives me this book called One Heartbeat Away by Mark Cahill. I read it in one day. I got done reading it. I went right to my knees and I gave my life to Christ. Now I've heard talk to people that said they really don't even remember when they gave their life to Christ. I'll tell you what, I know exactly when I gave mine to him. It was March 15, 2010, about 9 o'clock at night. Because that hole that I was trying to fill my whole life with drugs and alcohol and women and guns and violence and all that, that hole was full for the first time in my life. I felt the love of Jesus. Next morning, I called up Matt. I said, Matt, I did it. He right away goes, what did you do? And I mean, that's a fair question. I said, I gave my life to Jesus. He drove from Lakeville to Hastings, picked me up, brought me back out to Lakeville to the Christian bookstore, bought me my first Bible. About 5 days later, he had me sit at a celebration dinner for Alpha at River Valley Church in Apple Valley. I don't know, do you guys know what Alpha is? Okay, so I'm sitting there, and things are just moving fast. About 2 weeks later, I'm ushering at River Valley Church. About a month and a half later, they do a video testimony of me, put it and send it to all 8 campuses. God was moving fast in my life. I think he realized he had me and he wasn't letting me go. So things are going good. Patty and I, we ended up got married 2010 in the fall. 12, we had another little boy. That was my last one. But, so now I'm 53. We're married. We've got 2 little boys that are 9 and 6 now. I'm working construction, making good money. We bought a house out in Apple Valley. Things are going good. God is just awesome. What he's done. December 3rd, 2014, I'm getting ready to go ice fishing. If anybody knows me, they know I'm an ice fisherman. I'm putting my boots on. That's when I get this pain in my chest. Now this pain was really something I've never experienced before. And then it moved up into my face and holy cow. So Patty was gone with Noah, Caden was in school. So I dialed 911. You know, tough guys don't call 911. So I dialed 911. I held my finger over the other one, thinking, well, if something happens, I'll hit that one, you know. And all of a sudden I thought, oh, dang it, the doors are all locked. I don't want them to be busting in the doors of my house. So I got up to unlock the front door. I get halfway there and I collapse. My legs give out. I'm still okay, it's just my legs gave out. And I thought, oh, now I have to dial the other one. So I dialed the one, crawled to the door, unlocked it. The ambulance comes. And they put all the wires and whatever on and stuff. And she goes, well, Dennis, you didn't have a heart attack. Well, by this time the pain was gone, so I'm going fishing. And she goes, well, I think you should go to the hospital. So we're arguing back and forth, and then my wife comes home, and then I decided to go to the hospital because she told me I had to go. On the way to the hospital, the gal goes, Dennis, she goes, good thing you're coming to the hospital because your blood pressure has been dropping steadily. I said, okay, so we get there, they do a CT scan right away, and the doctor goes, Dennis, he goes, you need to get to the University of Minnesota right now. And I said, what am I looking at? Give it to me straight. He goes, if you make it to the hospital, you've got a fighting chance, and I'll tell you what, he thought he was looking at a dead man, and I could see it. I knew that I was dying. And he said, the helicopter's out, so we have to drive you by ambulance. So I said, all right. I'm in the back of the ambulance, and I'm looking out the window. I'll never forget looking up at the sky, and I'm just talking to God. And I said, God, this is your plan. I have nothing I can do about it, but I told him, I said, I accept your plan. I said, if you want to bring me home, I said, let's go. I said, I've got a lot of questions for Jesus. And he goes, and I said, but just take care of my wife and 2 boys, you know. And then I told him, I said, if you want me to stay, I will stay, and I will do whatever you ask. Well, I got up to the hospital, and it was just chaos. People are running around like their heads are cut off, and I'm just sitting back thinking, take it easy, God's got this, I'm good. And I was so peaceful. I was just the peace that I felt. I've never felt it since that day. I wish I could without the aortic dissection, because that's what I had. I had an aortic dissection. I had a 14-hour surgery. They cut my leg open and rebuilt all the arteries around my heart. It was like a 14-hour surgery. And then I was 5 days in a coma. And I'll tell you what, 5 days in a coma, my wife, she took care of the 2 little boys, but she was sitting at my bedside singing worship songs. She's the strong one. Man, I just slept through it all. So I had a lot of complications, in and out, in and out. I had like 4 or 5 ambulance rides, and I like sirens, and so that's what I did. Well, I was at River Valley Church one night, and Pam, she's one of the elders there. We're talking after church. She goes, Dennis, do you think you're ever going to be able to do construction again? I said, Pam, I don't know. And at this time, I'm still walking like this, and I really didn't think there was a chance I was ever going to do construction again. And in the meantime, I was doing a little mentoring on the side, because people knew my story. So they, hey, would you talk to my son? Would you talk to my brother? Whatever. So I was doing that on the side already. She goes, well, have you ever thought about becoming a pastor? And I said, well, I've thought about it, but I'm also busy. And I work 60, 65 hours a week, and I've got a family. And I said, it's just, I'm busy. And she kind of rolled her eyes. She goes, well, you don't look real busy right now. And so I talked to a few pastors, and I found a lot of them went through Global University, Green Bible School. I went home and I researched it online, and the courses were like $100 a piece. I ordered one. Then I told my wife. It wasn't because we were broke. My wife was a stay-at-home mom. I was getting temporary disability, which was like $920 a month. Well, my mortgage is $1,400. You don't have to be an accountant to figure out what was going on. But I bought the course, and then I told Patty, and she was a little upset with me. And a lot upset with me. And I just said, I just feel that this is what God wants. And I said, if it is, He'll make it work. I said, if it isn't, we'll eat at your mom and dad's for the next month. I said, well, it's too late, I already ordered it. The next day, our brother-in-law and sister-in-law come over, and I told them what I did, that I ordered that course. And I didn't say anything about the financial hardships we were under or anything. And Tony, first thing he said was, Dennis, let me and my wife bless you and pay for your courses. He paid for all the courses, plus the one I paid for the night before. I'm there just crying, and when I look at Patty, so I think God just spoke. So I got my pastor credentials in 2016. Still working construction, doing ministry on the side. A year ago, this last March, God told me He wanted more. I said, more? I said, man, what more can I do? I'm preaching down in Faribault Prison, I'm mentoring a few guys, and then I'm working construction. And He said, quit your job. I said, wow, that's pretty radical. Especially since we only had like $400 in the bank, because we went in debt during my surgery stuff. And we just started last spring putting money back in our savings account. So I was introduced to a guy that he's got his own ministry, and he raises up ministries. And this gal comes, she goes, you need to talk to Dave. So I went and talked to him. And we're talking about me starting a ministry. I come home and I look at Patty, and Patty knows where I was. And I said, Patty, I got a few questions for you. I said, number one, do you think I'm a man of God doing the best I can? And she said, yes. I said, do you believe that broken men that are hurting, that's where I belong? And she said, yes. And I said, well, then there's only one more question. And she started to get pretty antsy and bringing up stuff, she knew what was coming. And I said, whoa, I didn't ask the question yet. I said, do we trust God? And then she went on another thing, well, we don't have money for you. Everything she was saying was out of fear. And I said, Patty, this is a yes or no question. There's no maybes, there's no whats. There's no whats, there's yes or no. She said yes. I said, I'm quitting my job, and I'm going to start my own ministry. And that was a year ago last March. I'm mentoring 9 guys right now. I'm going to be starting a program in Goodhue County Jail with the men in there. I'm doing what God wants. I'm going to for nice rooms with the treatment center. Jesse's one of the first guys I started working with. Me and Dr. Tom Lee, I do a lot of work with Dr. Tom Lee. But you know what? It's all choices. It's choices on what you want. And it's trust. Was everything all good? Absolutely not. I had some really tough times. But God has been faithful. Now I am what you would call a home missionary. That's what the Assemblies of God, that's who has my credentials that I have them under. I'm a home missionary. I'm self-supported, which means I fund and people donate so I can do what I do. I'm mentoring a young man right now. He did 20 years in a Texas prison. 4 years of that was in one stretch in the segregation, which means he never had human contact, never seen the outside for 4 years. I started working with him about a month and a half ago, and he asked me, he goes, "Dennis, why do you do this?" Because there's not a lot of high points when you're dealing with addiction problems, a lot of low points. And I looked at him and I said, "Jorge, I do it because I remember what it's like to be dead with no hope." And I said, "It breaks my heart." I want to thank you guys for letting me come and talk.
Let us pray. Gracious God, we give you thanks for your faithfulness always. We thank you for the work that you've done in Dennis's life, in Patty's life, and for not just the courage to share their story, but for the courage to